Listen, you are built like a Discord notification. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Gamescapes. Today and only today, I am here to do my spoiler full review of the Sonic movie. So I gave you the spoiler free one after we saw it, and today I want to do my spoiler review of the Sonic movie. Now I will be doing this weekend or so a spoiler cast. I'm gonna have a few people, we'll do a video call, and it'll be like a spoiler cast. We'll talk about it with a group, we'll go over stuff. But for now, I thought I would do like my same review format, but talk full spoilers and talk about everything. So this is obviously your warning right now. If you have not seen this movie or whatever, do not watch this if you do not want spoilers. I'm going to be spoiling the shit out of this movie. I'm going to spoil everything, tell you the ending, post-credit scene, middle scene, beginning scene, every scene. So this is your warning. Also, mind my voice, a little fucked up after my flight and all this stuff. But yeah, so this is your warning, and now you know. So of course, if you enjoy the content and everything, subscribe to your boy, like the videos. Thank you. You guys have been just adoring all the videos lately. You guys raising all the numbers and views and subs and all that. So I really appreciate it. So keep the support and all of that stuff. So without further ado, again, final warning, final warning, final warning. It's time. All right, Super Sonic, bro. I can't, you don't understand. I was in the theater when Super Sonic popped up. I literally screamed. I was screaming. I was like, there's no way. There's no fucking way. And oh my god, bro, it was so fucking cool, bro. The way his design is incredible. The way, bro, he does the little 06 tap thing. He taps a little machine with his foot. It's the same thing as like when he does a little tap to that robot in the 06 cutscene. The way he just spins all over the dead thing, bro. Oh my, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just want to say that the Super Sonic surprise was one of the best things ever, and he looked incredible as Super Sonic. It was just pure menacing. There's this one shot where like Eggman's about to punch him and he just blocks it with his head. It is so cool, and just I feel like this movie shines when I'm able to talk about it with spoilers and everything. So Sonic movie 2, right now, if you had a few days, now you talk about spoilers. Man, I love this movie so much, and I'll be able to highlight a few of the things I love and don't necessarily like about the movie now that I can talk about everything. And let's talk about the post-credit scene real quick. Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. That's right, Shadow the Hedgehog. You see Agent Stone with a gun hiding with the gun soldiers, and then they're like, hey, we found something in a lab 50 years ago, experiment, and you just see a giant test tube pull up and you see Shadow the Hedgehog. We get the tease of him. Oh my god, he looks incredible. Like, that was just a tease of him. Fun fact actually about Shadow the Hedgehog, in that shot, for those of you that have seen it, Tyson has actually showed us this. So that is not the final design for Shadow. They actually had to use the rig that they were using for Sonic for Shadow, because of time constraints and all that stuff. So there will be a more refined design for Shadow once we fully see him. But for that tease, I mean, that's as fantastic as it gets, man. But yeah, being able to talk about to review the movie, sports, like, again, I really loved this movie. I think what shines the most about this movie is just how much more action packed it is. I mean, the first movie, like, what in terms of fights, right? It has the bar scene, which is kind of a fight. You have the car chase segment, and then you sort of have the final battle with Eggman and the city chase. But here you're getting actual combat, hand-to-hand combat. Bro, the fights between Knuckles and Sonic are just so cool. That's first scene where Knuckles comes to the house versus Sonic, he's just knocking him through the walls, and then they're trying to fight it out, and he chokes him on the wall and all that stuff. It's so fucking cool. And dude, I was losing my mind, and I mean losing my mind, when they're in the car driving away with Tails, and Knuckles is like pouncing to them, like he's almost on his four legs, just like hounding towards them. And it's one of the coolest things. And just like, I talk about things in order, otherwise I'm losing my mind. But Knuckles in general, what a star of the show, man. Anytime Knuckles was on screen, I loved him. And what I loved most about this interpretation of Knuckles was how he, even throughout the movie, even when he was being controlled by Eggman, he wasn't like submissive to him, what I mean? He wasn't just like, you could tell he was like, something is fishy. And even like one of my favorite moments is what's it called? It's Eggman, Agent Stone, and Knuckles in the lab, planning what they're gonna do to Sonic. And then they're about to leave, and what's it called? Eggman's like, oh, we have no space for Agent Stone or whatever. And Knuckles like, disloyalty, like no honor. And that to me was really cool, of just like, you can tell he's already like he's not necessarily fond of Eggman. I just like that throughout the movie he keeps this idea of like honor, you know, and keeping your promises and all this stuff. And obviously that works to his detriment, because obviously where Eggman betrays him and stuff. But oh my god, Eggman too, dude. Jim Carrey with his Eggman killed it this movie. I mean, also the beginning of the movie, did you notice they made the reference? Eggman meets Knuckles and he's like, would you like me to show you the way? And I was like, they knew exactly what they were doing with the line. Now, one interesting thing I want to talk about was, so the first thing we see Eggman, you know, when he's stuck on Mushroom, Mushroom Hill, was when he summons the ring, these human characters with spears show up. So I don't know what's up with that. Are we gonna see them? Because those weren't the same as the Echidna tribe. Those were like human people in like these tribal outfits, and I wonder if we're gonna see more of them in the future. But yeah, even the intro to Knuckles, really sick, and all that stuff was fantastic. Now Tails, right? I love Tails throughout this, man. I thought Tails, they did a good job of hiding a lot of his scenes. Obviously, a big part of the movie is the bar scene right now. This is the second time we get like a sort of bar scene in the Sonic movie, so I don't know if this is a tradition or just something they do for fun. And I've seen some of my friends being like, so because there's a whole thing where, you know, if you guys watch the movie, they go to this bar, everybody catches on to them. It's really funny, by the way. Like, Tails has this translator, and it's saying all the wrong jokes. I could have gone without, you know, there were a lot of fart jokes and stuff. Like, there were multiple in this one. I was like, okay, like, we don't need to do this. But that whole bar scene where they basically have a dance off, I thought was cute. Like, I thought that was a cute, fun scene. You know, Tails sort of like, I think it was important for Tails to have fun. You know what I mean? I think that was a big part of their friendship. Like, after that bar scene, there's a heart-to-heart between Tails and Sonic, you know, where they're just like, hey, like, Tails is telling him like, hey, I was watching you from afar this whole time, and I want to help you, and I never really grew up with friends and all that stuff. So that was such a cool heart-to-heart between them. And man, the most adorable scene is when Tails is sleeping and Sonic gives him a blanket. Sonic sleeps and then Tails covers Sonic with his tail as a blanket. It was so cute. I wanted to cry. Adorable, man. I think they did an awesome job, because this is sort of the first time we got to see Tails and Sonic become best friends, because for the most part in games, they're already best friends, you know. So getting to see that happen was sort of a really cool and magical thing, and I really loved and appreciated that. So that was awesome. And man, guys, oh my god, when they team up, when we get the Sonic Knuckles Tails team, so when officially Knuckles is, you know, is on our side, and they do the Avengers like triple shot, and they're starting to banter, like they're having their banters between each other, like, oh, I will crush everything in my way, and Sonic's like, hey buddy, let's come on. Tails like, we need to think of this right. It's like I loved seeing them banter, and they're running towards the death egg, and they're doing tricks with each other and everything. I was like, oh my god, this is heaven. And it's like, everything about this movie is so well done and designed for the fact. I'm like losing my mind. There's so much I want to talk about with this. But yeah, no, and I think what was one of my favorite things of the movie was obviously the Sonic versus Knuckles fight, the second one in the temple, was so sick, bro. There is a moment where Sonic bashes Knuckles 5 times into the ground, and it is one of the sickest things I've ever seen. It really is an action-packed movie. Also, I loved how that whole thing was Labyrinth Zone, and there's one shot that if you're a Sonic fan, you know, Sonic is falling through the water, and it like zooms out on it, just like when you're like, he's falling in the level in Labyrinth Zone. I thought there were so many cool little details. You know, you had the plane that's an SA2. Now let's talk about one of my issues with the movie, now that I can go in detail with it, which is the wedding aspect. Now here's the thing, I thought for the most part it was funny. I like Tom Wazowski, and is it Wazowski? Or Wachowski, whatever. I mix it up with Wazowski from Monsters Inc. I liked him and Sonic's relationship, and I liked the fact that it's sort of become this thing of like, him and his wife have become sort of a father to Sonic, and Sonic sort of fights that back. You know, he's like, you're not really my dad, we're supposed to be best friends. But I think Tom really does treat him as a son and all that stuff, and I thought my biggest issue with this movie with the wedding segment was specifically how much they focused on the sister, the girl getting married. I don't remember her name. But my problem with that wasn't necessarily that they had the wedding. That was cool. And then one of my favorite plot twists of the movie, which I didn't see coming, was that that husband of hers was also a gun agent betraying. That I was like, that is an awesome twist. And I almost thought it would have been funnier if they left it at that. I think it, I'm not even joking, even though it's a little mean-spirited, I genuinely think it would have been way funnier if the wedding ended on that, of just like she finds out the husband was just a gun agent. She's like, what the fuck? And that sort of ends there. But instead they do this whole thing where, like, you know, her and Maddie are trying to save Sonic and Tails, what's it called, and she like goes into like a car to go see the husband guy, you know, the hot dude, whatever, and then like he gets tased by one of the military guys, and then he's like, oh, I love it. It's like there was one that segment was just like everyone was like, come on, just can we move on? I feel like they could have shaved off that entire part. And again, it's not that it's that bad, because for the most part the movie is so well done, there's so much going on that you can forgive it, but I do think that part sort of dragged down. I think that's in general one of the issues now, because this movie, like, Sonic and the humans were completely different segments. It was very brief, you know, that they would be together. But to me, I love Sonic, Tom, and I think the wife's name is Maddie. I'm not sure. I like those two together. Their dynamic and all that was really good. I also love when Sonic, was home alone, just partying and doing everything and all that stuff, and they did a good job of displaying Sonic's speed. They emphasized the water thing a lot in this movie, about Sonic not being able to swim, because in the first movie we get a glimpse at it, you know, when like he runs to the water and he comes back just to be like, I swam through the Pacific and all that stuff. But this movie really emphasizes the thing that he can't. So one of my favorite moments in this movie was Sonic goes underwater to save Knuckles, and he's like, he can't breathe, and he finds a bubble and he eats it, and you hear like the wah sound, and that was awesome to me. That was such a nice touch for the fans. And what, man, another scene I really adored was the beach scene. There's a beach scene between Sonic and Knuckles, and that's sort of their moment where they bond and become friends, where they're just saying like, we went through the same thing. So a big plot point of the movie is we found out what happened back then and why Longclaw was, you know, assumably killed by the Knuckles clan. And the reason for that is that they showed this in a cool animated way, where the Knuckles clan was what's called the Echidna tribe, had the Master Emerald, and one of those warriors was using it, you know, for evil or something, and then when the bird civilization, like the owl people, took the Master Emerald away from them, and locking it away, so they were feuding for centuries and such, and that's how we happened to end Longclaw and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, Knuckles that day also, it's got just lost a lot of his family and stuff like that. So it was a cool thing of like their lives sort of intersected that day, and they were just talking about how, yeah, they both went through a lot, and just them having that heart to heart and the handshake and everything was awesome. Also, shout out to Agent Stone Lee, incredible job, man. He was so funny, bro, because he was 10 times more of an Eggman sim this time around. He's got his like face in the lattes. Yeah, one of my favorite moments is, you know, when Eggman has the power of the Master Emerald and he makes the swoop, he's like, take me with you, doctor, and like Eggman fucking pulls him into this tornado, and it's the funniest thing ever. And I really, oh my dude, the death egg was awesome. The death egg was really well designed. I love that. Even the snowboarding scene, the one we've seen in a lot of shows, the snowboarding scene full effect was really cool. And I just loved it, man. I just think so much of this movie is such a love letter to the fans. But I really think that last hour where it's like Labyrinth Zone, the team up between the three heroes, you know what I mean? All that, and the super, I just can't get over the Super Sonic scene, bro. It is so hype and so cool. I didn't think they were gonna do it. But man, insane, bro. It looks so cool, and I'm sure we're gonna see it again sometime, you know, maybe versus, dude, Super Sonic versus Super Shadow would be the craziest thing to see. But yeah, no, I think what I loved the most about this movie was how much it really, this felt like I said, first movie I really like, but the first movie is sort of it's a buddy cop movie featuring Sonic, and it's got a lot of cool little references and Easter eggs, and it's cute. But this was a Sonic movie throughout, as a lot of you have seen that clip. That shit was a Sonic movie. And what I mean by that is just from start to finish, it felt like, you know, they were using story elements from, you know, the franchise. They were using a lot more of the references, the plot points were, you know, taken from the series and stuff. And just, I loved everything about it, man. I thought it was fantastic. I'm gonna go watch it again soon. We're gonna do a full spoiler cast discussion. But I cannot stress enough, man, just how incredible everybody was popping off at Supersonic. And not just that, the post-credit scene just having Shadow was one of the best things they could have done. Because listen, I know a lot of people want Metal Sonic, and I do too, but I just think Shadow is such a perfect character to hype up that it's going to be insane to see. We don't hear a voice, but we do see him, which is really cool. So we have that. And man, I loved Knuckles, man. Knuckles to me was such a highlight because Knuckles, a big problem we've had for a few years was, you know, he's much more sort of brain dead and brawn. Whereas here it's more that, like, you know, he is lost because, you know, he's from a tribe and all this stuff. And he hasn't been on Earth. But he's still, you know, strong. He holds true to his values and everything. But I love the way he talks. He's just like, yes, I am having the fun with my friends and all that stuff. And he's like, he is charming in a sense. Like, he's charming, he's fun, he's lovable, the way he interacts with the gang and all that stuff. I love that at the end it's Tails, Sonic, and him just having a good time together playing baseball. I thought it was adorable, man. I love so much about this movie. Like I said, I want to do a whole spoiler cast where we get into everything. But now that again, reviewing it, being able to talk about it, I loved so much about this movie. I think, I thought it was amazing. It's not perfect. I do think the wedding stuff and human elements in general sort of hold it down a little bit. And some of the, like, there are a lot of jokes that don't kind of land, you know, like a lot of, you know, there were some like fart jokes or like nostril jokes and all that stuff, or like stuff like the flossing and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, again, it's still a kids movie, and that's the thing, right? It's still a kids movie, and you can definitely see it. Also, there were some parts where the CGI was really weird. I don't know if you guys could tell. There's some parts where the CGI was odd for the background stuff, but for the most part, man, I adored it. I was having the time of my life, and I can't wait to talk to people more about it because this feels like a love letter to Sonic, and I love it so much. So guys, thank y'all for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the movie in the comments. You are fully free, spoil everything you want. Let me know your favorite aspects of the movie. What do you think? There's so much we could talk about now that we've seen this movie. After the spoiler cast, we could talk about what's next, we could talk about what characters, and now I'm even more excited for the Knuckles show. It's going to be a great time. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. I love you, and of course I'll see you all next time. Peace out. You're the best. Bye.